The morning is tender. You step barefoot onto the cool stone path that leads to the edge of the pool, where silence cradles everything. Above you, the sky stretches like soft fabric, pale blue, brushed with threads of peach and lavender. The sun has not yet fully risen, but it peeks shyly over the horizon, spilling gentle light across the still surface. It touches the world with a kind of grace you can only notice when you're quiet enough to receive it. You pause. The pool waits undisturbed. There's something sacred about this moment, the hush before the day truly begins. It feels like you're standing inside the pause between thoughts. Nothing rushes. Nothing demands. The water does not ripple. It does not churn. It simply is. You breathe in, slowly. The scent of dew, of earth, of faint chlorine hangs in the air, clean and nostalgic. Then you notice it, the way the pool holds the sky, perfectly. The branches overhead are captured exactly, as if the water remembers every curve. Clouds, not yet warmed by the day, drift silently, and the water copies them without question, without effort. It does not interpret. It does not distort. It reflects truthfully and softly. In this light, the pool becomes more than water. It becomes a mirror for your mind. When your thoughts are calm, when you are not troubled by the turbulence of the day, your inner world reflects truth too. Stillness is clarity. You sit at the edge, toes curled around the cool stone lip. This is not about swimming. Not yet. This is about presence. Being here, right here, with nothing to fix, nothing to prove. The world is enough. Even your body, often pulled in so many directions, begins to quiet. Your shoulders drop. Your breath lengthens. You feel the hum of your own heartbeat, slowing to meet the rhythm of the day's gentle beginning. The science of calm begins here, not in the laboratory, but in the landscape of awareness. When your surroundings soften, your nervous system listens. Tiny chemical messengers in your brain begin to shift. Cortisol, the stress hormone, slips away like steam rising from warm pavement. In its place, your body begins to make room for calm, for safety. This is how you heal. Not in grand efforts, but in these small invitations to stillness. The water knows this. It does not need to be loud to be powerful. It does not need to move to be meaningful. You lean forward and dip your fingers in. The surface accepts them without resistance, parting just enough to welcome you. You feel the cool embrace, not cold, not warm, just perfect in its neutrality. It's like touching time itself. Tiny ripples bloom outward from your skin. They carry your presence through the pool, the same way your thoughts ripple through the mind, delicate, fleeting, widening as they go. And you wonder, how much of your life is shaped by invisible ripples? How many thoughts, like drops, fall into your awareness and create waves you never notice? And how often do you return to stillness to see yourself clearly again? You lean back now, reclined on a chair softened by age and morning light. The sky has climbed higher, and with it, shadows stretch gently across the patio. But the stillness hasn't left. It lingers. The water remains a mirror. You realize it always was. You just had to look. There's something ancient in this experience. Something primal. Before books, before science, before stories, humans gathered around water. To drink, to reflect, to rest. Even now, inside you, the memory of those moments lives on. You are, after all, made mostly of water. Every cell in your body relies on it. Your blood flows like a river. Your brain floats in it. Your breath, though made of air, rides on a rhythm born in the ocean tides. Stillness is not an absence. It is a presence too full for noise. You close your eyes. Behind your lids, the light glows red gold. You feel your body, not as shape or weight, but as a soft warmth, expanding through space. And you imagine your thoughts, each one landing softly on the water's surface. They do not sink, they float. They are allowed to be here. All of them. This moment teaches you something important, that rest is not the opposite of doing. It is the foundation for all things. Even the earth rests. The sun pauses at twilight. The ocean sleeps between waves. Stillness is not nothing. Stillness is preparation. Stillness is awareness. Stillness is wisdom. You remain there, unmoving, feeling. The rhythm of your body settle into the morning. Somewhere deep in the pool, a leaf falls. It drifts silently, joining the reflections. And then you ask yourself a question, not aloud, not urgent, just a quiet wondering in the back of your mind. What happens when the stillness is touched? What does one drop do to the whole? And as the sun rises just a little more, and the first true sound of the day begins, you feel something shift, a ripple, a beginning, a thought. Something has entered the pool, and it is time to follow it. You hear it before you see it, a soft, almost imperceptible sound, plip, like a breath releasing its tension. A drop has fallen into the still pool, and everything shifts. You open your eyes just slightly, just enough to notice. The water, once so perfectly still, now carries circles that move outward in silence, expanding gently, slowly, without resistance. They grow without needing to rush, as if time itself had decided to stretch and soften, to make room for a ripple. There is wonder in this single motion. One drop, one choice. One quiet moment of change. The surface of the pool is no longer a mirror, but a memory being written. You watch as the ripple expands. Each circle moves outward in perfect symmetry, carrying the energy of the drop farther and farther across the water skin. This is fluid dynamics, but not the kind taught on chalkboards with equations and numbers. This is the kind your body understands without needing to explain, a language of waves, motion, and quiet response. When a drop touches water, it displaces molecules. It pushes ever so slightly, and those molecules push their neighbors. And those push others still. Energy moves, not in a burst, but in a ballet of balance. What you are witnessing is known as wave propagation, the transfer of energy through a medium. Like sound moving through air, or emotion moving through memory, but you do not need to name it. You only need to feel it. Each ring is a moment. Each ring is a breath. Each ring is a whisper from the center. The ripples remind you of thought, how a single idea can stretch far beyond its origin. You think of how one word spoken in love or in anger can echo long after silence returns. The physics of water is the poetry of experience. The pool tells you, even the smallest thing has influence. Even the gentlest movement matters. You close your eyes again and feel for the ripples inside your body. They are there, subtle and patient. Your breath flows in and out, a wave of oxygen, temperature, presence. Each inhale causes a change. Each exhale carries it forward. Your heart pulses, not with loudness, but with rhythm, sending waves of life through vessels like rivers. Even your thoughts ripple. They pass through neurons, tiny electrical signals across vast networks, like stars speaking across a sky made of memory. And then you hear it again. PLIP. Another drop. This one lands somewhere else in the pool, and its circles begin anew, intersecting with the first. Where they meet, they do not fight. They merge. They harmonize. They amplify and cancel in quiet cooperation. This is called interference, when waves overlap and the world decides what remains. Sometimes in life, your thoughts overlap this way. One memory blends into another. Joy touches grief. Fear softens in the presence of understanding. And you realize that stillness is not the absence of activity. It is the balanced embrace of all motion, in harmony. The pool has become a universe of interaction, and yet it does not overwhelm. There is space for every ripple. There is time for every wave. Water, after all, does not resist what arrives. It makes room. You let your mind wander to sound. Another form of ripple dot sound is vibration, moving through air, pushed into waves by your voice, by the world, by the breath of the earth itself. When you whisper, your vocal cords create tiny movements, and those movements stir the air, carrying your message to ears far away. You think of all the voices that have ever spoken to you, how their sound didn't stop when it reached your ears. It entered, it echoed, it left traces dot, and now you wonder, how many of those echoes still live within you? How many drops have fallen in your pool? You sit quietly, not trying to answer, just listening. The water calms again. Its ripples slow, fade, and eventually disappear. But something remains. There is a difference now. A slight tension between the water molecules. A readiness dot, it is called surface tension. The invisible cohesion that holds the water together. A skin formed by invisible bonds. Even after motion ends, structure lingers. Memory lingers. The pool remembers being touched. You too are held together by unseen forces, by relationships, by moments, by experiences you may not even recall, but your body remembers. Your heart remembers. Your nervous system remembers. You think again of the first drop, how it began so simply, a small action, a single point of change, and yet it shaped everything. This is how the day begins, with a single thought, a single breath, a single opening of the eyes. The ripple does not end at the edge of the pool. It continues, transferring its motion into everything it touches. So too does your awareness now begin to move, from body to breath, from breath to mind, from mind to something deeper still. And just as you begin to feel the water quiet again, you sense something happening beneath the surface. You do not see it. You do not hear it. But something is rising. Not a ripple this time, but a memory. Water, after all, has been everywhere, cloud, stream, blood, ocean, tear. It has traveled longer than your lifetime. It carries more than motion. It carries story. And perhaps, now in the stillness after the ripple, you are ready to listen to what the water remembers. You float now. Not swimming, not moving, just suspended in the soft cradle of the pool. The water carries you with such gentleness, you could almost forget it's there. But it is, beneath you, around you, within you. You are weightless, yet anchored in something ancient. You are drifting, yet entirely held. And the deeper you surrender, the more you begin to sense something unexpected, a presence, a kind of remembering. The water remembers. It doesn't speak in words or thoughts, but in feeling, in flow, in the way it wraps around your body as if it already knows you, as if it always has. This pool is not just a container. It is a vessel of memory, filled with water that has traveled longer and farther than you can imagine. Perhaps the very drop that clings to your skin now once rose as mist from a jungle leaf, fell into a mountain spring, flowed beneath ancient cities, or ran beside someone else's bare feet in a summer rain. You think of the water cycle, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, collection. But here, under the sky's soft eye, it feels less like a system and more like a journey. Imagine a single molecule of water. It begins in the sea, pulled upward by warmth. Lifted into the sky, it becomes part of a cloud, travels over forests, fields, oceans. It falls again into rivers, lakes, mouths. It is taken in, let go, reabsorbed. It moves without losing itself. This is not just motion. This is continuity. This is story. And every molecule touching your skin now has lived 1,000 lives. In science, it's said that the water you drink today may contain molecules once sipped by dinosaurs or breathed out by ancient trees. The same H-O, unchanged in its essence, circulating across centuries. As if time itself were liquid dot, you begin to wonder. If water holds the journey, does it also hold the imprint? The theory of water memory emerges, a controversial idea in science that water may retain a trace of substances once dissolved in it, even after those substances are gone. A ghost of contact, a fingerprint left behind. Though debated, the idea stirs something in you, not as a fact to prove, but as a feeling to sit with. Isn't memory like that? A song heard long ago, now silent, but still playing somewhere inside. You, a face no longer present, but vivid behind closed eyes. Moments you cannot explain, but which shape you still. You float in the pool, and let your own memories rise, not in order, not as a timeline, but as waves. The first time you felt rain on your skin, the smell of a childhood summer, the way someone once said your name with gentleness. You feel how these memories, like water, are not fixed. They shift, evaporate, condense. They return in dreams, in the way you pause before speaking, in the choices you don't know why you make. Memory isn't something you store. It's something you are. And in this moment, you are not just remembering. You are being remembered. By the water, by the air, by the self that once was and still flows through you. You glance up, the sky is mirrored perfectly in the pool. But something catches your eye. A small pattern, delicate and beautiful, shimmering on the surface where sunlight meets the movement of your breath. It is surface refraction, light bending as it travels through water and air. But it looks like calligraphy, as if the water were writing something in light. You wonder, is this how memory speaks? In symbols, not sentences. In feeling, not language. You recall how your own brain holds memory, not in one place, but across regions. The scent of something familiar may light up one area. A song, another. A face, another still. Like droplets scattered across a pond. They are linked by invisible threads. Neurons whisper to each other, sending sparks across synapses. Not rigid, but fluid, a kind of thinking made of motion. Like the water, your mind doesn't just hold memory. It lives in it. You feel your heartbeat slow, even further. Not because you are tired, but because your body is easing into trust. Floating in memory. Floating in the known and the unknown alike. Somewhere nearby, a dragonfly touches the surface. It skims, then lifts off again. A brief encounter. A soft moment. It leaves no mark. And yet, you saw it. It happened. And now it lives in you, however small. That, too, is memory. Not clinging, just witnessing. Just being there when the moment passed through. You are surrounded by water, but you are also becoming it. Changing shape to fit the container of now. Becoming soft enough to hold the past without letting it weigh you down. The pool grows quieter, if that's even possible. The wind has settled. The sun has climbed just enough to warm the edge of your shoulder. And somewhere within you, a feeling stirs, not of nostalgia, but of belonging. You are part of this. Not just today, but always. A stream flowing into the ocean of being. And just as the light begins to shift, you feel another awareness rise. You are not only made of water, you are carried by it. Inside, it moves through your veins, through your cells, carrying oxygen, nutrients, life. And suddenly, you wonder what else the water within you is carrying right now. You lie back into the water, and for a moment, you can't tell where the pool ends, and you begin. There's no splash, no struggle, just quiet merging. The warmth of the sun on your face, the cool embrace beneath your skin, they meet in the middle, somewhere behind your ribs, where breath rises like a gentle tide. You begin to feel it now, This truth whispered by the stillness around you. You are a pool. 2. Not a metaphor, but a body made of water, bound together by salt, structure, and motion. Roughly 70% of you, a walking ocean, held upright by skin and memory. Every breath you take draws in oxygen, but it is water that carries it. Through you, tiny red blood cells drift along narrow vessels, like boats on an invisible river, carrying life to distant shores inside your muscles, your fingertips, your brain. This is circulation, the slow, pulsing rhythm of your inner tide. With each beat of your heart, water is in motion, not crashing like waves, but flowing in purpose, in pulse, in peace. You begin to notice your heartbeat, not as a thump, but as a current, a river beneath your chest, steady and ancient. It has been flowing since before you were born. It will flow while you dream tonight. And it moves not alone, but through a network of pathways, carrying not just blood, but temperature, nutrients, healing. Heat travels in this current. So does sensation. So does memory, as hormones drift like messages in a bottle, whispering to distant corners of yourself. This is not machinery. This is not clockwork. This is ecology, a system of balance and exchange, of cells drinking and giving, of tissues receiving and releasing. Water in your body does not stay in one place. It flows from your blood into your organs, from your organs into your cells, from your cells back into the world, in breath, in sweat, in tears. You begin to see yourself differently, not as solid, but as flow. Your body is not a statue. It is a stream. Every cell in you floats in fluid. Even your brain, that great theater of dreams and thinking, is cushioned in water, bathed in it. And when you drink, when you bring cool water to your lips, you are not just quenching thirst. You are replenishing rivers. You are giving your body a chance to carry what needs to be carried, to heal what needs to be healed, to cool what burns, to clean what clings. Hydration is not a task. It is a kindness, a returning. You imagine now what it looks like inside, the blood vessels branching like rivers, arteries wide like highways, capillaries tiny and countless, reaching every place that needs life, and the water moves through them. Without complaint, without rush, because the body is wise. It knows the rhythm that serves it best. You think of heat, how you warm in the sun. But you are not melting. You are balancing. Your blood carries heat to your skin, and your skin releases it in tiny droplets. Sweat, evaporation, cooling. This is thermoregulation, the body's way of whispering to itself, I've got you. I'll keep you safe. I'll keep you steady. And it all depends on water. Not just in your cup, but in your veins, your lungs, your skin. The pool outside mirrors the one within. Both hold temperature. Both reflect light. Both respond to movement with waves. Both remember. And so you float, suspended in yourself. You feel. Your fingers tingle with warmth. Your legs drift weightless. Your spine lengthen as tension lets go. Inside you, cells are exchanging oxygen. Neurons are firing. Hormones are being delivered. All in silence. All in water. You are not alone in your body. You are a host to trillions of cells, each living its own story, each nourished by flow. Even pain, even healing, depends on circulation. When you cut your skin, water carries the soldiers to protect you. White blood cells, clotting factors, signals of repair. When you calm your breath, you improve the flow, you reduce resistance, you let life move freely again. You are not made of parts. You are made of pathways, of bridges, of tide. And now you feel gratitude for this soft body, this quiet motion, this inner pool you live inside. You are not a fixed shape. You are not a rigid form. You are water in transition, always moving, always becoming. You sigh, a soft exhale that ripples across the surface. And in that moment, you remember something else. Even still water can reflect the sky, even hidden. Rivers carry stars. You float inside and out, realizing the line between you and the world is thinner than you thought. And just as your mind begins to quiet again, a thought rises like a bubble from deep below. If your body is water in motion, what happens when light meets that motion? The sun has risen just a little more now, its warmth brushing gently against your cheeks and arms. The pool around you stills once again, the ripples of movement settling like a soft breath that has finally exhaled. You float in silence, and above you, the sky. Not just above you, but also beneath. The water, smooth and quiet, mirrors it perfectly. Clouds drift in the reflection, their shapes delicate and slow. Light curls across the surface, soft and golden, as if time had melted into brightness. For a moment, you are unsure. Are you looking down or up? This is the first mystery of reflection. It gives back not what's beneath, but what hovers above. The pool does not show you its depth. It shows you the sky, but only when it is still. You think about that, how clarity doesn't always come from diving deeper, but sometimes from becoming still enough to see what's already there. Reflection, in science, is simple. Light travels in straight lines. When it strikes a surface, it can bounce back, like a question returning as an answer. If the surface is rough, the light scatters. If it's smooth, like water, the light holds its shape, carrying with it a picture of what was above. This is specular reflection, when light behaves with discipline, when it respects the angle from which it came. But the real wonder is not in the definition, it's in the experience. It's in how light becomes memory, how images become echoes. You gaze into the pool and see the sky, and in a strange way, you are seeing what light has carried from one place to another. The pool becomes a canvas, but only if it is still. You begin to understand. Motion disrupts clarity. Disturb the water, and the image fades. Try too hard, and what you seek will blur. So too with the mind. When your thoughts rush, when emotions stir the surface, you cannot see clearly. But when you become still, when you breathe, when you wait, the reflection returns. You are not the thought. You are the water holding it. And when you do not chase, clarity finds its way back. Perception, you realize, is not only about the eyes, it is about attention. Where it rests, how it flows, and how stillness shapes what we see. Light enters the eye. It passes through the cornea, the lens, and focuses on the retina. A thin film at the back of the eye lined with cells that drink light and turn it into electricity. These signals race to the brain, where they are translated not into light, but into meaning. You don't see with your eyes. You see with your mind. And even that is just a reflection of what you're ready to see. Do you close your eyes now? And in the dark, the reflections do not stop. Memories appear. Images form. The light within continues its gentle show. You see a window from long ago. A street light through rain. A face smiling in the quiet of a kitchen. None of it is real now, but all of it lives in the quiet pool of memory. Inside you. Reflections never truly fade. They just ripple beneath the surface, waiting for stillness to rise again. Outside, the clouds begin to shift. Their forms dissolve. Reform, like thoughts caught between remembering and forgetting. You watch them move across the water's skin, the light playing a game of shadow and shape. You think of how perception is shaped by position. A reflection changes depending on where you stand. What you see depends on how you look. Sometimes, to see clearly, you don't need to look harder. You need to move, to change your angle, your place, your approach. The physics of light teaches you this, that truth is not static. It is interactive. And So is perception. So is self. You drift now, gently turning in the water, and the reflection follows. The sky never leaves, but what it shows you shifts. Perhaps this is the most human of truths. You are always seeing parts of the whole. Never everything, but always enough dot, and in the gaps, in the places where reflection fades, imagination rises, dot it fills in the rest. It softens the harsh. It completes the broken shapes with poetry dot. And so, not everything needs to be seen. Some things are better felt. Some truths are better floated upon than grasped. The sun moves higher now. The light grows stronger, but not louder. Its warmth presses against your eyelids as you let them close. The pool holds your body. But your mind floats in a different pool now. A pool of thoughts, of images, of gentle understanding. You feel a softness rise in you, like the hush before sleep dot, and then a flicker just under your skin. The light has changed just slightly, and with it, something within you opens to the next question. If reflection fades in motion, what happens when you surrender to that motion completely? You let go dot, not dramatically, not all at once, but gradually, gently, like a leaf falling into a stream and deciding not to fight the current. Your back presses into the water, and the pool accepts you without resistance, without hesitation. You float dot, you don't try to float. You simply allow it. And in that moment, you feel the difference between tension and trust. There is a reason this happens, a law written not in words, but in nature. It is called buoyancy, the quiet push of water upward, equal to the weight your body displaces dot. It is a promise that what enters water will be held, not by chance, but by physics. Buoyancy is the balance between gravity pulling you down and water pushing you up. A conversation between weight and support dot. Your body has mass. It presses downward with gentle force, a reminder that you are here, you are real, you are made of something. But water presses back, not angrily, not stubbornly, lovingly dot. It rises to meet you, and in that rising you are lifted. You are supported. You are free. You float not because you resist gravity, but because you allow water to share the burden. You begin to notice how the water cradles you, how it cups the curve of your spine, how it supports the weight of your head, how it holds your limbs like petals, each one opening into rest dot. This is not just science. This is surrender. This is a lesson from the body to the mind, that letting go is a skill, and trust is not weakness. It is an understanding, an agreement between self and world dot. You think of your lungs. With every breath, they fill with air. And the more air you hold, the more you float, because air is less dense than water. And so your chest becomes a vessel of lightness. You are a balloon in a still sky, a ship drifting just below the surface, a body made buoyant by breath. Density, you remember, is mass divided by volume. It decides whether something sinks or floats. If you are more dense than water, you will sink. If you are less dense, you will rise. But this isn't a value judgment. It's a state. A condition. Things float, not because they are better. Things float because they are balanced. So too in life. You think of moments when you felt heavy, not in body, but in thought. The weight of expectations, of regret, of needing to control. Those are the moments when you sink, when your own mind becomes denser than the world can hold. But then there are other moments, when you breathe, when you soften, when you allow and in those moments, you rise. You do not become lighter. You become more spacious. You spread your weight across breath and trust. You create volume inside yourself without changing your essence. And that is what makes you float. You feel this now, as your body opens in the water, as your limbs drift like seagrass, as your Eyes close not in escape, but in arrival. The water beneath you does not rush. It doesn't need to. Its stillness is a form of strength. It knows how to wait, how to lift, how to bear. You let yourself sink just an inch deeper, just enough to feel the cool slip around your ears. The world muffles. Sounds fade into echo. In this half-submerged stillness, you hear your heartbeat again. Slow, steady, softened. You realize that the water isn't just outside you. It is communicating with the water within. Your skin is not a wall. It is a bridge. Temperature flows. Across it, pressure balances through it. The world and the body agree. We are made for this contact. You think of animals who live in water. Seals, whales, fish. They understand this surrender intimately. They do not conquer the water. They move with it. They yield to it. They belong. To it. And now, so do you. You remember that in the womb, you floated in amniotic fluid, held, suspended, nourished by water before you ever took a breath of air. Buoyancy is not new to you. It is ancient. It is the first embrace you ever knew. And perhaps that is why floating feels like coming home. Because your body remembers. It remembers being held without conditioned dakusai, a sound that releases not just air, but effort. The water does not need you to try. It only needs you to be . And so, you begin to understand something deeper. The less you fight, the more you float. This is not passivity. It is participation. It is harmony with the elements that are already trying to support you. You remain still, and in that stillness, you are carried, not upward, not outward, but inward, toward yourself. You realize now that surrender isn't falling. It's floating. It's trusting that you are already buoyant, that you are already enough. Your thoughts, too, begin to float, not heavy, not rushed, just drifting, appearing and dissolving like shadows on the water's face. And as your mind lets go of the day, your body lets go of effort, and you are simply here, a body made of water, held by water, trusting water. And just when you think you could not be more relaxed, you notice a new sensation rising from within, a faint awareness, a pulse of presence. As if something inside you, gently and slowly, is beginning to hum. It is not movement, not quite yet, but perhaps a beginning of something deeper, something cellular, something that stirs only when the body truly rests. A quiet reminder. What happens inside stillness when the body begins to heal? You are still, not in the way a rock is still, not rigid, not frozen, but in the way a pond is still, alive beneath the surface, yet undisturbed, peaceful, full of slow motion and soft whispers. You lie here in the water, not doing, not thinking. Too much, just being. And in this being, something incredible unfolds. Stillness, it turns out, is not emptiness. It's activity in another form, quieter, deeper, subtler. Your body, in this moment, has shifted into a different rhythm, one that has always known how to take care of you. This is the work of your parasympathetic nervous system, sometimes called the rest and digest branch of your biology. It is the counterpart to the part of you that runs and reacts, fights and flees, plans and solves. This part, the parasympathetic, is where you return. It brings you back to balance, back to breath, back to the simple miracle of being alive. You feel its signature now in the slow beat of your heart, the looseness of your jaw, the soft belly rising and falling with ease. There's no need to prepare for anything, no danger to scan for, no noise to decipher, just presence. And with this gentle shift, your internal systems take their cue. Your heartbeat slows, your muscles soften, digestion resumes its gentle churn. Hormones begin to balance like dancers regaining their timing. The stillness you are in is not silence. It is communication. A conversation of cells reconnecting after too long apart. Your immune system begins its quiet work, scanning, repairing, renewing. It's not dramatic. It's consistent. Little by little, old cells are swept away. New ones are encouraged to grow. Inflammation eases. Tissue breathes, and the mind, your mind, begins to make space. Here, in the calm, your brain processes emotions differently. The amygdala, the part that sounds alarms, quietly dims its light. The prefrontal cortex, where thought and reflection live, steps forward, not with answers, but with questions softened by understanding. This is the biology of stillness. Not passive, not lazy, but wise. It's what allows your nervous system to recover, to reorganize, to repair the wear and tear of being awake, alert, responsible. It is healing through softness. You imagine your body now as a quiet temple, lit from within. Every breath brings oxygen, a messenger of peace, delivered to cells who wait patiently. Every heartbeat pumps calm through your bloodstream, like a lullaby sung by your own physiology. You're not doing anything, and yet everything is being done. You think of a pool that's been undisturbed for hours, its surface like glass, its depths unclouded. In that state, the pool reveals everything. The stars above, the shape of the moon, the gentle sway of branches overhead, and your body is the same. When you are still, you begin to see patterns once buried beneath noise, needs once masked by urgency, hurt that now has room to dissolve. You are not asleep yet, but you are drifting closer. Your brain begins to shift its waves from the quick, darting rhythms of wakefulness to the slower, rounder ones of rest. This is where insight lives, where memory settles, where dreams begin to peek around corners. And even as you lie here, the very chemistry of your body supports your descent. Your body releases acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that deepens your rest, slows your heart rate, and signals safety too. Every part of you. It is your biology's way of saying, you are safe. You can let go now. And so you do. You surrender to the quiet intelligence of your own system, this elegant architecture of nerve and cell, built not just to survive, but to recover, to reset, to remember its wholeness. You think of trees, how they grow in silence, or seeds, how they germinate in darkness. Stillness is not the opposite of growth. It is its birthplace. And tonight, in this chapter of your rest, you are growing in ways that cannot be measured by mirrors or scales. You are learning, not facts, but balance. You are healing, not scars, but tension. Your breath is your guide. Soft, slow, circular. It knows the way without maps. It knows how to return you to yourself. And with every exhale, you let go of one more thing you are carrying, until only this remains, you, floating in stillness, alive in quiet repair. And somewhere, beneath all this calm, a flicker begins to rise, not of action, but of energy. A signal that once your body has rested enough, once the healing has rooted itself deep, something will begin to awaken again. But for now, you rest. And just as the final tension leaves your fingertips, you wonder, in this silence, what invisible currents are moving beneath the calm, quietly preparing you for joy. You are drifting. The surface of the pool is quiet now, your body barely moving, just softly rising and falling with your breath. The water embraces you like memory, and beneath the stillness, something begins to shimmer. Not light, not sound, but feeling, subtle, whole, and warm. You may think peace is just a mood, a passing cloud in the sky of your mind. But here, floating under the open hush of the world, you begin to understand. Calm has a chemistry. It lives in the very molecules that dance within you. Not outside, not separate, but born from within. Deep in your brain, tiny messengers begin their silent work. Neurotransmitters. Chemical notes in your inner symphony play melodies you rarely hear when the world is loud. The first to arrive is serotonin, the stabilizer, the mood balancer. It drifts like morning fog through the valleys of your mind, bringing steadiness, bringing light. Serotonin helps regulate your emotions, your appetite, your sleep. And right now, as you surrender to this floating rest, your serotonin rises gently. Not in a rush, but like the slow unfurling of a leaf in spring. You feel it not as excitement, but as enoughness. As a deep yes whispered through your body. Then comes oxytocin, the connector, the chemical of love, of trust, of safety. It doesn't need anyone else to be present. It rises even in solitude, especially when that solitude is soft. You remember. A touch, a gaze, a word spoken in kindness. These memories are pathways. And as they pass through you, oxytocin flows like warm tea into a waiting cup. Your heart feels fuller, your thoughts more tender. Connection isn't always about others. Sometimes it's the quiet reunion with yourself. And as your eyelids grow heavier, another friend arrives. Melatonin. This is the darkness bringer, the twilight keeper. Melatonin does not force sleep. It invites it. Produced in your pineal gland. This hormone responds to dimming light. It tells your body, the day is done. It's time to turn inward. It's time to soften. In this dim-lit water world, your melatonin begins to rise like stars, blinking into view across a sleepy sky. You feel a drowsiness not of exhaustion, but of permission. Your body no longer needs to stay alert. It can rest. It can trust. This is the chemistry of calm, a blend of balance, trust, and slowing down. Not one note, but a harmony. Even endorphins play a part. Natural pain relievers, mood lifters, released not just by running or laughter, but by simple joy, by presence. Floating here, you feel the faint glow of their kindness. Not intense, but comforting, like the warmth of your favorite blanket after it's been resting in the sun. And so, moment by moment, your entire inner world adjusts. Hormones shift, signals pass. Your brain rewires itself, not through effort, but through quiet reception. You begin to understand that your mind is not separate from your body. Your feelings are not just thoughts, they are chemistry. And your chemistry is shaped by how you breathe, how you rest, how you listen. You breathe in slowly now, deep, full, easy. This activates your vagus nerve, a long, winding thread that connects your brain to your body, like a river winding through forested land. When the vagus nerve is calm, so are you. It slows your heart rate, lowers your blood pressure, reduces inflammation, boosts digestion, encourages healing. It is a messenger of safety, and right now, it's telling your entire system, you are safe. You are home. You let that message travel. You give it space to land. From the crown of your head to the tips of your toes. You let it move through you like a gentle wave, and still deeper. Even the cells of your immune system are listening. When calm chemicals rise, inflammation lowers. Stress hormones retreat, and repair begins. There's a chemical called GABA gamma-aminobutyric acid, a neurotransmitter that slows brain activity. It doesn't shut things off. It just eases the volume. You feel it now as quiet between thoughts, space between worries. The world doesn't disappear, but your grip on it loosens. You no longer need to solve anything. You no longer need to hold everything up. You float, and the chemicals float with you. Not in chaos, but in order. Not as accident, but as design. Your body was made for calm. It knows how to do this. It's doing it now. You think of a garden. In the noise of day, you plant seeds in a hurry. But in the quiet of night, the roots take hold, the water seeps in. The chemistry becomes growth. This calm is your soil. This chemistry is your root system. You don't need to control it. You just need to be here long enough for it to work. You sigh, and that sigh is medicine. A release. A signal to your brain that the danger has passed, even if there was none to begin with. You smile, maybe, or not, but either way, your body reads it. It releases dopamine in small, soft bursts. Not euphoria, just contentment. Just being. And then, just when everything feels settled, you notice something subtle. Something internal, but rising. A faint clarity. A new sense of light. As if the chemistry within you, after soothing and softening, is now beginning to open a door. To prepare you for something just beyond this moment. A rhythm not just of peace, but of connection to something larger. You feel a memory begin to stir. Not from your mind, but from your tides. The pull of something vast, steady, lunar. And you wonder now, as your body gently dissolves into deeper calm, what else moves you? Quietly and faithfully, without your asking. From far beyond the sky, the day has exhaled its final breath. And now, night stands quietly at the edge of the pool, cool and slow, wrapped in shadows and moonlight. You float beneath a sky brushed in indigo, your body weightless, your thoughts softened by sleep's nearness. Above you, the moon hangs low, a silent lantern, casting silver ribbons across the still water. It is not loud, this light. It does not burn like the sun. It glows, a whisper instead of a shout. You watch its reflection ripple across the surface, and something stirs inside you. A recognition, because you, too, are moved by the moon. You always have been. You may not feel it in the moment, but deep in your blood, in your cells, in your rhythms, the moon is already touching you. It pulls at the oceans, not with arms, but with gravity. A gentle force that stretches across space, tugging at tides, lifting waters into peaks, then letting them fall. And the pool you float in answers this pull, not dramatically, but just enough to remind you that nothing on earth moves entirely on its own. Not the sea, not the body, not even your breath. You are a tide, too. Your body, made mostly of water, responds to lunar rhythms in ways science is still learning to name. The moon's gravity may not lift your skin like it lifts the sea, but it influences the inner tides, your hormones, your sleep, your emotional currents. You feel it most in stillness. When distraction falls away, and you are left with nothing but the echo of the sky above, your breath slows now. The world narrows gently into moonlight and warmth, and you begin to drift with that ancient pull. This is the moon's quiet work, aligning your body with its rhythm, nudging your internal clock, your circadian rhythm, into alignment with light and dark. This rhythm, your natural 24-hour cycle, guides sleep, hunger, mood, temperature. It is your body's symphony conductor, and the moon is its nighttime muse. You feel it now, this inner clock ticking not like a machine, but like a heartbeat, timed to starlight. Your pineal gland, a tiny organ deep within your brain, is watching the light fade. And in response, it releases melatonin, a hormone already softening your edges, already dimming your wakefulness. You do not have to command this. It happens like the tide, naturally, faithfully. Sleep, it turns out, is not something you do. It's something you return to, and the moon lights the path home. You stare at it now, or rather, you allow it to be there, gently watching over your body as it rocks with the pool's gentle sway. And you wonder, how long have humans looked up at this same glowing shape? How many hearts, centuries apart, have softened under this same light? The moon has guided planting, marked calendars, inspired stories, pulled waves. And now it is guiding you, not with urgency, but with gravity. You are being pulled not outward, but inward, into yourself, into peace, You feel how your heartbeat slows in the moon's presence, how your limbs sink just a bit deeper into the water, how your mind wanders more easily now, not with effort, but with curiosity. The moon is not static. It moves through phases, new, crescent, full, waning. Each shape a reminder that light comes and goes, but the cycle continues. So too do. You dot your energy, your emotions, your thoughts. They wax and wane. Not broken, just cycling. You remember now, you are not meant to be constant. You are meant to be alive. And to be alive is to rise and fall like tides, to grow and rest like moons. You feel the pull within your chest, not dramatic, just a quiet. Gravity asking you to surrender further, to let the water hold more of you, to trust the rhythm beneath the silence. Even your dreams may be shaped by the moon. Some studies suggest we sleep slightly less during full moons, as if our bodies are reaching for something bright just beyond the edge of sleep. But tonight, you are drifting into deep night, and the moon feels close, like a hand resting lightly upon your shoulder. You allow its glow to cover you, to wrap your skin in cool light. You let it slow your thoughts, soothe your nervous system, reconnect you to something older than memory. Your eyes close, and behind them, the image of the moon lingers. It becomes a symbol now, not just of sleep, but of surrender. Not just of light, but of pattern. And in that symbol, you begin to understand something deeper. That rest is not only about stillness. It is about alignment, with rhythm, with time, with something greater than the self. The moon shows you how to move, without rushing, how to change without fear, how to glow without needing to shine. And as your body settles into its slow descent, you imagine your blood tides easing, your cells resting, your dreams forming. Above you, the moon keeps watch. Below you, the water reflects. And in the quiet, space between sky and skin, you float, you breathe. You remember. And then, somewhere beneath the surface, a thought rises like a ripple across still water. A curiosity. A question. Not about gravity, not about tides, but about the part of you that sees your reflection in the moonlight and wonders what else you might see if the water becomes a mirror once again. You are barely moving now. Your body floats effortlessly, held in quiet conversation with the water, while above you, the stars begin their slow bloom. They shimmer gently, not with urgency, but with presence. The pool has stilled again. Number. Ripples, no waves, just soft reflection. And in that reflection, you see yourself, not just your face, but something deeper, your outline, your shape, your being drifting between surface and sky. The pool becomes a mirror, not glass, not perfect, but truthful. You look into it, and it looks back. Here. At the edge of sleep, you are not separate from the water, or the air, or the night. You are made of the same elements. Carbon, oxygen, hydrogen. The same dust that formed stars flows through your bloodstream. The same water that filled oceans cradles your lungs and cells. And as you gaze into the stillness, you begin to feel the blur, the line between you and the world grows thinner. Your thoughts drift like vapor, dissolving softly into the darkness. Not gone, just shared. This is the science of identity. The realization that consciousness, this experience of you, is not a fixed object. It is a pattern, an arrangement of matter and energy, a delicate dance of neurons, glia, chemical, messengers, and memory. Your brain is not a box of thoughts. It is a river of processes, constantly shifting, constantly rewriting what it means to be you. And yet, despite all this change, you still feel whole. This is the paradox, that identity is fluid, yet grounded, shifting, yet consistent, just like water, just like reflection. You look again into the pool, What you see is not a photo, not a fixed version of yourself. It is light bouncing off your form, reaching your eyes after a quiet journey. What you see is already in the past, and yet it feels like now, because perception is not only sight. It is attention, awareness, recognition. You realize now that the pool does not lie. It does not exaggerate. It simply reflects. And when you are still enough, you begin to see not just the shape of your body, but the shape of your being. You are not your job, not your name, not your past. You are breath. You are heartbeat. You are sensation and story and silence. You are awareness, vast, quiet, capable of holding everything without needing to grasp. And in this space, as the stars float above and the pool holds below, you feel yourself begin to dissolve, not in fear, not in loss, but in return. You are returning to something older than thought, older than worry, older than the question of who you are. You are returning to stillness, are becoming the mirror. At the molecular level, your body slows. Cells ease into their nighttime rhythm. Brain waves lower into soft undulations. Delta waves prepare the ground for sleep's deep repair. This is not forgetting. This is restoration. Neuroscientists call it memory consolidation, the brain filing. Experiences, shaping dreams, clearing unused pathways to make room for what matters. And all the while, you float. Half in the world, half in sleep. You think of quantum particles, how they exist in many states and once until observed. You wonder if sleep is like that, a state of in-between, where the self becomes fluid again, ready to be reshaped by morning. Light. Your breathing is soft now, your muscles loose, your thoughts thin like mist. You look into the mirror once more, and this time you do not try to define what you see. You simply let it be. Let yourself be, because science too surrenders to mystery. And the most advanced instruments still cannot measure the full weight of presence, the exact moment when wake becomes sleep, or how the mind learns to let go. You are approaching that moment now, the threshold, the place where the pool becomes more than water, where the mirror becomes more than reflection, where the self becomes more than thought. You are not falling asleep. You are arriving into the quiet country of night, where everything softens, everything floats, everything belongs. And just before the final thought dissolves, you sense one last ripple, a gentle wondering. If your reflection fades in sleep, what dreams might rise in its place? And now, as our story gently fades, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending this moment with me. Your presence here means the world, and your support helps me create even more peaceful journeys. Just for you. If this helped you rest, please consider liking, subscribing, or simply coming back tomorrow night. Until then, stay cozy, stay kind, and may your dreams tonight be soft, serene, and full of wonder. Good night, my friend. With warmth, David.